You're listening to the Icandemy Podcast, the podcast for people who can but don't know how. This is where you get actionable steps to turn vague dreams into blissful realities. And I'm your host, Omoshola Victoria Wolabi. So let's get started. Do you ever think to yourself, I want to be able to impact lives, leave an imprint in this world, but you feel isolated, stuck, unclear on how to show up or get started? If you've answered yes to this question, I want to extend a very special invitation to you to join us on our upcoming workshop, the Courageous Confidence Workshop. This workshop is live, where we get to work together on that call so that you can crack the confidence code, awaken your inner giant, show up authentically, and attract your tribe. Head on over to offers.icandemy.org/courageous. Again, it's offers.icandemy.org/courageous. You'll find the links in the show notes below. Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Icandemy Podcast. I am delighted to be here today. How have you been? How has your week been? How is everything? I hope you are enjoying the Easter holiday. Yeah, it's a time for us to be grateful for the gift of Jesus, actually. I personally love Easter because it's just a time for me to actually reflect and see how grateful I am that the gift of Jesus was given unto us. And if you're not a Christian, that's okay too. I hope you're enjoying this time. I hope everything is going well for you. And for my Christian brothers and sisters around the world, I am wishing you a very, very happy Easter. And on today's episode, I'm going to be discussing setting boundaries because this is something that has been weighing heavily on my heart this last week. And it was triggered by the death of a well-known gospel singer in Nigeria. She's from the eastern part of Nigeria, and she's a very well-known gospel singer. Not one that I really followed closely, if I'm being honest, but I knew one of her songs. And it was announced that she passed away at the age of 42 from domestic violence. So her husband beat her, kicked her in her chest, and that was the cause of her death. And this woman left behind 4 small children. And it's just something that I had to really, really take my time to listen to the sides of the story that I could get online that was available. And it just reminded me, I'm not one to talk about relationships a lot because I truly believe that every relationship is unique in itself. But I'm also a big believer in the fact that marriage in particular is designed for the glorification of God. God created marriage for His glory. God created marriage to assist us as human beings reach and accomplish our destiny. And it is not a must, right, that you must get married. For those who decide not to get married, that's absolutely fine too. Jesus actually talks about this in the Bible. But the death of this lady really brings sobering thoughts to my heart. Like, how many more women are going through this? Why are we not setting boundaries? I'm going to talk about, first of all, setting boundaries generally in every relationship that we are in. And I'm going to touch a little bit on setting boundaries even in marriage. Because we all understand that when you get married, two have become one. But you are still a human being first before you are a wife. That's the truth. And even in my relationship with my husband, we both have boundaries. There are things that I know he will not tolerate, and there are things that he knows that I will not tolerate. And because we understand that, we're able to set boundaries. Now, when we talk about boundaries, really, boundaries for me, I define it rather as a way when you know your limits and what you can take. And in order for you to set effective boundaries, it must start from knowing who you are as a human being. Who you are. Who are you as a human being? That is why I'm so passionate about helping women in particular understand who they are, What is the power that you carry? Why are you here in the first place? There's a fantastic book by Mrs. Olajumoke Adenowo, and I want you all to go out and get a copy of that book if you can. The book is on Amazon. That's where I got my copy. It's called Woman as God Intended. It's a fantastic read that will help you understand first your position as a woman and why you're here in the first place. But I'm going to touch on that a little bit in this episode. As a woman, you have been designed as a helpmeet. You are equal to your husband before God as a human being. You are both equal as human beings. Now, when it comes to fulfilling the mandate of creation, God gave Adam the lead and put the man as the head of the home, because of the role that he has to play. It doesn't mean he's superior to you in any way. You are equal. Remember in Genesis, God created them both, male and female. He created them. You are equal, okay? Now, in the order, because remember that when we have to do things, and that is why in most organizations there are hierarchies, not because everybody cannot do the same thing at the same time, but there will be chaos if it was done that way. So those hierarchies are put in place for order, and that is why God created the hierarchy of the man being the head of the home and the woman in command. It doesn't mean she's less. Okay, family, let's face it. We've all felt pain. We've suffered the losses. You know what it's like to want something so bad, but not see a path to its accomplishment. The question, however, is, do you know how to pick yourself up and move on despite what has happened? This is what I share with you inside of my new book, Good Medicine for the Crushed Spirit, a practical guide to helping you find purpose when adversity strikes. Inside this book, you will find personal stories, relatable biblical tales, and anecdotes that prove you are never alone in your despair. I will inspire you to turn pain, discomfort, disappointment, or setbacks into something positive that works for you. So if you're ready to change your life in meaningful and purposeful ways, get your copy of this book today and let the transformation begin. I had this very fantastic analogy from Dr. Miles Monroe, and he used the analogy of a car manufacturer. So let's say, for example, you had a Mercedes-Benz car manufacturer, and within the Mercedes-Benz factory, they manufacture the sedan, they manufacture the trucks, for example, right? It doesn't mean one is superior to the other. They are built so that they can fulfill a specific function within the fleet, right? So the sedan is luxury for those who want that kind of luxury. But for somebody who is looking to transport heavyweight goods or products, you will not be looking to go to the sedan. It doesn't make the sedan less or the van more superior than the other. They are just built for different things. But as long as you see the Mercedes logo on both of them, it means they have the value. They are both valuable because of the manufacturer that made them, right? The same way we have been designed, women, men, by God. That is where our value comes from. Your value should never come from worldly things you own or careers. No, your value comes from the one who made you. Who is the one that made you? Why do people spend thousands of dollars on things like Ferraris and Lamborghinis and all of those things? They are buying the manufacturer's name. They believe that because this vehicle was designed by this manufacturer, it is important, it carries weight. In the same way, you should know that because you are designed by God, you are already valuable. That's number one. Therefore, you cannot put yourself in situations where people step all over you, where people take you for a ride, and you just stay there because you're a Christian. No. Even Jesus did not stay where he was not wanted. He didn't stay there. And he told us, he says, when you go out in my name to fulfill this mandate, when you enter into your house and you say, peace be unto this house, and if they refuse to accept your peace, let your peace return to you. Dust off your shoes and leave. So why are we tolerating people putting you down, people talking down at you? In any relationship, this is general I'm talking about now, in your job, in your friendships, In any relationship, you should never tolerate anybody that puts you down, that makes you feel less than a human being, that treats you as if you are a worthless piece of trash. You should never, ever. It is not biblical. It is unbiblical for you to put it. In fact, I consider it an offense to the one who made you, that you don't understand how valuable you are to God himself, that you allow yourself be treated that way. Those that know me, those that are close to me, understand what I'm talking about. Under no circumstances will I put myself in a situation that makes me feel worthless or less than, because I know who I am. And I'm challenging women out there today. It is time to set boundaries in every relationship you find yourself. It is time to understand your value, your worth, first as a human being, second as a woman. Do you understand that you are a portal between heaven and earth? Do you understand that no human being can come forth into the physical realm without you? Look at the power you have. Look at the power you have, that no human being, the zenith of God's creation, cannot make it from the spiritual into the physical without you, the woman. So why do we allow people put us down? Why do we allow people put us down? I don't care who this person is. It could be your parents. It could be your friends. It could be your boss. You should never tolerate any situation that makes you feel worthless or less than a human being. It's just not worth it. And the same goes in marriage as well. Because the Bible tells us that when two are married, they become one. That does not erode your right to live. That does not erode your life to be treated, your right rather, to be treated with respect and dignity. That does not erode your right to live in existence. Like I heard Mrs. Funke, the Pastor Funke Adejimo say this: the covenant of life is higher than the covenant of marriage. Therefore, on no account should you be in a relationship that threatens the very existence of you living, because you just want to stay married. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Now look at those 4 children from this singer that inspired this episode. Who is going to raise them? Who is going to raise them? How do they live life knowing that their mother was beaten to death by their father? Look at the trauma these kids will have to live with for the rest of their lives. So it is absolutely crucial that we set boundaries. First, it starts with knowing who you are. Who are you? What makes you tick? What do you carry? You need to protect what you carry. You need to protect the gift God has given you. You need to protect what God has given you. It is absolutely crucial that you birth what God has given you into this world and not let anybody else kill you with that thing God has given you. So your life is important to the one who gave it to you. No human being gave you life. Only God gave you life. Therefore, no human being should take your life because you did not set boundaries. I just want you to know today, as I record this episode, whether be it in business as well. I remember a time where I would just let my clients walk all over me. They would send me messages at any time of the day because they were paying me money for a service. Because I honestly thought at the time that was the way to please them and get customers. No. That's an absolute no. Because a client, the relationship, even in business, should always be reciprocal, right? You are both contributing to that relationship. They came to you because you can offer them a service. You also have them as a client because they bring value to your business. Therefore, you should both treat each other with respect. I do not take on any client. Once I smell disrespect, that's it. It's off. We should always strive for decency as human beings. We can do business without being disrespectful to each other. We can be married and still have boundaries. That is where love thrives. In the space where there's respect, mutual respect is where love thrives. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And I really do hope, it's my prayer that this will trigger something in you to reevaluate your relationships, to dig deeper and understand who you are, so that you know exactly what makes you you and why you're here. When you understand that, you will know where and how to set those boundaries. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I'll see you on the next one. And until then, keep on shining. This episode is sponsored by our very own Mogul Mindset Training. Are you ready to embrace new experiences, see opportunities where you thought there was none, and totally surprise yourself? Because you can by unleashing the power of your mind. Mogul Mindset System is a 5-step system that helps you retrain your mind to work with you and not against you, so you can awaken your inner giant, 10x your impact, your income, and become truly unstoppable. The truth is, you, my friend, have a superpower, your creative genius, and I'm here to make that power multiply manyfold so you can get past fear, self-doubt, and finally start working and thriving in your life and business. Ready to unleash your superpowers? I thought you would. Head over to mogul.icandemy.org. That's mogul.icandemy.org to learn more. So there you have it. Thank you so much for listening. And for more content like this, follow us on our social media handles. On Facebook, it's at Icandemy, the Facebook page. On Instagram, it's at Icandemy. Or come say hello over on my personal page. On Instagram, it's at Omoshola Speaks. On Facebook, it's Victoria Wolabi. Feel free to reach out, introduce yourself, say hello. I love meeting you. And if you have any stories that you feel will inspire another woman to action, I want to hear from you. I really do. I love hearing from you. Send me an email to hello@icandemy.org. So it's hello@icandemy.org.